What is the best MCU series? Where can you get the frozen Sour Patch watermelon drink? And what is my favorite MCU series? Well, I talk about all that and more on this episode of the Toddcast. Hello everyone and welcome to the Toddcast. As always, I'm your host, Todd McManus. And as you can probably tell by the title of this episode and also during the intro, we're going to be doing a MCU series tier list. This was actually requested by a few listeners out there, so thank you for that. Of course, I did not cover the MCU series on the MCU tier list that I did for all of the Marvel movies made by Disney. And of course, we would have to do another Marvel movies tier list about the Marvel movies that weren't made by Disney, like the Hulk movie, the Spider-Man movies, Amazing Spider-Man, and all the X-Men movies, and Deadpool as well, and others. But I was like, you know what, it's being requested, and might as well do it for a quick episode to do an MCU series tier list, since there are not that much. There's literally been 6 or 7. And also Secret Invasion on Disney Plus, and the next MCU series will be premiering this year. I forget the day. I want to say it's in August, but I will look that up right now to, of course, fully confirm the date that is premiering. June 21st, so it's actually sooner than I thought. So, June 21st is the Secret Invasion MCU series on Disney Plus. That is the day it is premiering. But before we get into the MCU series tier list, I wanted to talk about one thing here that I actually saw today as of this recording, is that Murphy USA, the gas station, has officially launched a brand new frozen drink, and that is the Sour Patch Kids Watermelon Frozen Drink. So it's basically like your icy or frozen drink that you can get at anywhere. You know, they got Coke Icy and Blue Raspberry Icy and Cherry and other flavors. But now they are going to be having a Sour Patch Kids watermelon flavored frozen drink. Now, to me, that sounds good. I would actually try that. I know it's probably packed with a crap ton of sugar, but I know that for a fact that I would give that a try. And, you know, I might have to go find me a Murphy gas station somewhere. I know that they're always in front of Walmarts, but I'll have to go find me a Murphy USA. That way I can try the Sour Patch Kids watermelon frozen drink. So, if you live by a Murphy, or you frequent a Murphy, or if you just know where one's at, and you're interested in that, you might as well go check it out, because, I don't know, I think it's limited. I want to say it's limited edition, so it's not going to be out for too long. I don't think it's going to be, a mainstay, a staple of the Murphy USA gas stations. But I know for a fact that it's not, not anywhere else, only in Murphy right now, as of this recording anyway. So, if you know Murphy USA and you frequent one, or just know where one's at, go try it out, because I'm going to have to try it out as well, and I'll give my review on it whenever I can. So, we're just going to go ahead and dive into the MCU series tier list. Let me pull the tier list up real quick. So, there have been a total of 6 MCU series as of right now, Secret Invasion being the 7th. And I'm going to be doing a tier list of all of these. Of course, that is not going to be a very long tier list, since there's only going to be 6 things on here. I'm going to go in the order that they came out, as in the order they released. I'm going to try to remember the order. I definitely know which one is first. There actually isn't one on here. Let's see if I can... When was this updated? I know for a fact there is not one on here right now. So let me try to find one that has it. Okay, it still don't have it, but this is good enough. So I wanted to go through these, and I will list them off right now. So I will just go ahead and jump ahead a little bit and say about one that I have for sure not seen at all, and that is the Miss Marvel series. I never watched it. I never got into it. I never had the privilege, I guess you could say. I never, had the opportunity to see it. I just never did. I don't know why, really. I mean, other things were happening in my life that were more important than the Miss Marvel series. So Miss Marvel will be in haven't seen, because I have not seen that series. So Miss Marvel will be in there. And so, yeah. There isn't a series listed on this list for some reason, and it's actually She-Hulk. I never finished She-Hulk, but I do know how it finished. I know Daredevil showed up. So I would probably put She-Hulk, from what I did see, I would probably put it in just plain C tier. It was okay, not my favorite. Like I said, I only watched the first couple episodes of it. I do plan on watching all of the Secret Invasion series, but She-Hulk never struck out to me of being like, wow, this is the best MCU series. And at the same time, of course, Miss Marvel, I never watched an episode of it at all. So yeah, I have not seen Miss Marvel, and She-Hulk will be in C tier, even though She-Hulk is not on this list. So let's go ahead and start from the beginning. We're going to start off with the one and only, that is, of course, WandaVision. Now, this being the first MCU series, I thought it was good. I thought it was great when I first watched it. I think it's still pretty much a top-tier show. It helps and aids the story of the last Doctor Strange movie that happened. I would probably just swiftly put WandaVision in A tier, because I enjoyed it. There was a lot of elements of the series, of the special effects, the story. I thought it was really good overall. Not the best all the way. I thought that it ended good. It brought up with White Vision being in there now. I wonder when he's going to show up, because he's still out there somewhere. He didn't show up at all in the second Doctor Strange movie. But I'm curious to see that. It left open the door for that, of course. So I am just waiting to see what actually happens with that. And hopefully, we'll get our answers sooner rather than later. The next one we're going with is the Falcon and the Winter Soldier series. I also thought this was really good. I also kind of want to put this in A tier, because actually, I'm going to have to put Falcon and Winter Soldier in B tier. I know. If you've seen it, you'd be hollering at me right now. I thought this show was good. The only problem for me is that some of this show was just forgettable, in my opinion. And because I barely remember what happens in this show. Like, I watched every episode only once, but there is a good part of it that I do not remember. The main thing I remember is the Falcon becoming the new Captain America at the end of the series. And him becoming the new Cap is, really good, and it kind of set up some stuff at the end. And it had, other people in there, and it set up more than, like, the setup at the end is the main thing I remember. So there's really nothing else that I can, pinpoint being, this is the top tier show. I know this is a favorite among different people, but for me, I can't put it up any higher than B, because it was good when I watched it, and that was it. I just don't remember anything else of it. So, the next series we're going to be covering is the Loki series. Now, this show was wow, I really enjoyed this show. I think that Loki definitely deserves to be an S tier, because it kind of set up the entirety of this phase. Like, Loki really did well in its story and the aspects of the time traveling and everything like that. I very much enjoyed the overarching story of it and the character development of Loki and all these other Lokis that were showing up. And all of that was very fun, in my opinion. I enjoyed this show. It was awesome. I just definitely think that without Loki, there wouldn't be, it wouldn't make sense with Kang and all that happened that in the show with Kang, and now we have the actual villain Kang the Conqueror. And I just think this show was just overall really well done. It was just so good. I enjoyed it a lot. I loved watching this show. I can remember good parts of it. So it definitely deserves an S tier in my book. The next series we're going to be covering is the What If series, Season 1. Now, in my opinion, I definitely think What If should also go in S tier, because it's a concept that I think every big franchise should take. And, DC is one of those franchises that I feel like they do a what if scenario every 5 years, and then they give up on it, and then they do another one. And so you want to ask, well, what if this happened to Batman or this happened to Superman? Well, they probably already made a show, movie, or comic book about that. So it's like there's not a lot with that. I definitely think, of course, the season 2 of What If is currently in the works. I haven't heard if it's, when it's coming out or whenever that's happening, but apparently it is going to be happening. I think that there should be a What If show for Star Wars. That would be amazing if they actually did that. A big What If of like different movies and stuff like that in the Star Wars universe. But this What If series is really good, and it had the overarching story throughout the season of bringing, basically like making their own Avengers, basically, to fight against Ultron. And they did him justice in this series of him getting the Infinity Stones and getting Vision's body and all that kind of stuff. Like, I think that was really well done on their part to be able to do that. So that's why I very much enjoyed this show. It was animated. It's the only animated one as of right now, and it's just really good in my opinion. So the next series we have is Moon Knight. Now, I personally think Moon Knight should be an S tier as well. Because, well, the thing is, like, all these shows are very different. They have a different feeling. They have a different story. Hardly any of these, or basically none of these, kind of connect. But I definitely think Moon Knight should be an S tier because it was good. It was fun. The whole thing of having him basically a different personality, and now there's another one that was introduced at the very end, and all the Egyptian, mythology and all the lore and everything like that. I thought it was very cool. I thought it was very well done, and I just thought it was overall good. This show, I had fun watching it. It was violent, it was bloody, but overall it was still good for what it brought to the table. And I thought, it was just an overall good show around the board, in my opinion. So, it was, it had everything it needed between, a little comedy here and there, and then just a lot of violence. And you can't go wrong with that. So, but yeah, I definitely think that the Moon Knight series deserves to be an S tier for my tier list with Loki and season 1 of What If. And I just think that was, I think it was very good. So, the last one on this list, unless I'm forgetting another one, the last one on this list is the Hawkeye series. Now, This show was good, but not, up to the standards of some of these. I would put Hawkeye in B tier with the Falcon and Winter Soldier, and I know people are going to come after me for that. But I thought Hawkeye was good. I definitely think it was funny and, deserves its place above C tier, especially. It wasn't a mediocre show or anything. But it has the same problem with Falcon and Winter Soldier that it has, is that it's just got forgettable moments and forgettable scenes that I just don't remember. Whenever people talk about series, I never see Hawkeye come up. I'll see the Falcon and Winter Soldier come up sometimes. I see WandaVision come up more. And Loki, What If, and Moon Knight, the ones I put in my S tier, are actually ones that I see come up more than others. And, and of course there's She-Hulk and Miss Marvel and all that. But I haven't seen Miss Marvel, and I would put She-Hulk in C tier, but I didn't watch the whole series. Maybe it is a B tier show. But Hawkeye, I think, deserves to rightfully be in B tier because it was funny, it has good moments, and, it was a good show. I can enjoy it. But overall, it's like, what are you doing? I don't know. That was just me from watching it, but I still liked it. I still watched it. I still enjoyed it. And it was, fun to watch and fun to be a part of with this Hawkeye series, learning about him and what he did and the new Hawkeye and all that kind of stuff, But overall, it was still one of those that was like, so. But still, I still enjoyed it. That's why I would put the Hawkeye series in B tier, because it's still overall good. And, you can sit back and you can watch this show and enjoy the, there was some violence, there was a good story behind it. There was different little moments that made this show good for what it was. And, we can all sit and we can all enjoy what this show offered to all of us and what it brought to the table of being a series in the MCU. But other than that, I think that's why it just deserves to be in B tier for my specific MCU series tier list. And with that being said, I think that is the final entry into my MCU series tier list, because like I said, they don't have Miss Marvel or She-Hulk on here. And like I said before, She-Hulk would be in C, and I haven't seen Miss Marvel. But on this list right now, we got Hawkeye and the Falcon and the Winter Soldier in B tier. We have WandaVision in A tier. And we have Loki, Season 1 of What If, and Moon Knight all in S tier. And apparently they are going to make a Season 2 of What If. I'm not, fully clear when that's going to happen. In July of last year, this says that it was supposed to arrive early 2023. Well, it is currently May. We have not seen it. So, I don't know. It is apparently still on the books to happen. And now they think that it won't come back to Disney Plus until early next year. But for a fact, we do know that Secret Invasion is coming this year on June 21st of this year. So about a month away, we have the next MCU series with Samuel L. Jackson and Emilia Clarke, which is going to be a good show. I definitely believe it's going to be a pretty good show. I've been well more into Star Wars right now. Because, the Marvel movies, I got to go see them. Whenever they come out, I feel like you just got to see a Marvel movie. And like I said, I enjoyed Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. I really enjoyed Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I think the third Guardians of the Galaxy movie is the best one of that trilogy. it would definitely be at least A tier, if not S, because that movie was just overall great. But yeah, I just think that, on a series standpoint, they were doing very well for a while, and they were constantly putting them out. It was 2 to 3 series a year is what they talked about doing, and now they've been taking it back. I don't know if it's because of different things happening in the world, or because they don't want to do that many series or shows at a time, or I don't know Marvel and Disney's actual reasoning for that, and that's their story to tell. But that's just my opinion, because like we've been talking about more recently about the superhero movie Burnout, it can still be for overall anything, just like the series. So that is the MCU series tier list. If you want to check out my tier list, you can head over to the Toddcast Instagram page at @_Toddcast_. Check it out over on Instagram. You'll actually see a picture of the tier list, and you can head to tiermaker.com. That's tiermaker.com to make your own tier list of anything. You can make your tier list of what I just made, or Marvel movies, DC movies, Star Wars movies, and what I've done in the past. Or you can literally do anything. It's like cartoon characters and rank the NBA teams or whatever like that, if you're interested in all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for this episode. As always, please rate and subscribe. If you're listening on YouTube, please like, comment, subscribe, and click that bell to get notified when new videos are uploaded. And make sure you follow the Toddcast for all your updates and Toddcast needs, and tell your friends and family to give it a listen. And thank all of you for once again listening to this episode. And if you want to know what's going to happen next week, we're just going to tune in to find out. Only on the Toddcast.